When you're ambitious or you're building a business, you're probably planning far ahead and, trying to think 2 moves ahead, stay ahead of the game. But maybe planning is holding you back more than it's actually moving you forward. In my online agency that I've run over the past 3 years, planning too much has been one of the biggest and stupidest mistakes that I've made. The plan will change, the board and the ground underneath you is moving. And so you cannot plan 2, 3, 5 years down the line. And so many times I have made like grand plans and whatever and tried to map out everything. I'm going to do this and then this and then this. And then things don't work out like that. It was really just a waste of time. If you right now are trying to come up with some elaborate plan, or you're watching this and trying to like get more information and think about how you're going to do the thing, guess what? That's not doing the thing. What you need is patience, not a plan. A plan has nothing to do with the success. Patience has everything to do with it. If you're a small business, when you're a small operation, you have to think on proportionately small timelines. When you're running a massive corporation like Walmart, sure, you can make a 5-year plan because you're organizing, like 40,000 people, but you don't have 40,000 people. You have like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And so you should be planning accordingly and just coordinating the very small few next steps, which are going to get you closer to the goal. It's a massive waste of resources to make a very complicated plan that is then only going to get changed because the ground underneath you, the plan changed, and it's constantly, everything around you is moving and shifting. And so like focus on the constraint. I didn't do enough of this, and that's why I speak on this. But like if you are trying to make your business work, are you actually working on one singular thing that's going to move it forward, or are you trying to plan for the 6 next things without actually doing the next singular step? And so it's like, stop trying to plan and think super far ahead. You're trying to plan the 3rd parking spot of your Lamborghini that you don't even have, the first 2 cars for. I had this conversation with a friend, and I was talking about something. It was like some future plans that I had, and he basically laughed at me. It's like planning your parking spot for your 3rd Lamborghini, and like I don't have any, and so it's so irrelevant right now. It's so just useless to think about this. It's just mental masturbation, effectively, for you to feel better about yourself. And like everybody likes planning because it's not as hard as doing, and our brain gets the satisfaction of imagining that success that we will have, and all that stuff. But it's really useless, and it doesn't move the needle forward. Plan less, just do. And I just made a video actually about kind of my difficulty in planning out my next steps, because right now I do have to make a decision, right? Like I have to cross this bridge and make a decision to go on either one path or the other. But guess what? Making that small call makes sense now because I have to make that decision because my lease is ending, and so life things are moving. But I also realize I have to stop myself from planning too far ahead. Like I got myself too into that, and really what I need to do is just focus on the singular biggest constraint right now. And for me, that is making something that's really useful internally. So I want to shift toward applying more internal solutions, because if we have more internal use cases, I know they'll have external use cases too. And then we'll see where things take me. I fundamentally want to stop myself from getting ahead of myself and trying to over-optimize for things that are not the constraint. And I did this far too much. The reality is the constraint in front of me for now is product and offer. And so I need to just solve those things first. Fuck the rest. Fuck thinking about like where I want to be and visas. It's just, I'm over optimizing for these things. And man, do I wish I could have hammered this lesson into me way earlier, because I've spent a lot of time and money on just the wrong things. And it has taught me a lot. I'm not going to say it hasn't. It's good to go and experience the world. But at the same time, it just fundamentally did not solve the constraint. Funding or bootstrapping or London or Lisbon or whatever the fuck. I just have to think about what is going to solve that constraint for me. What is going to help me move that thing forward? And then where can I work with somebody to learn about that maybe, right? So where do I have people that I can learn from, and how do I approach those people? But I have to just apply the learning the most. Like the big thing is, I don't apply enough. Like stop learning and planning, but really just sit down and apply. Have a clear goal of where you want to go, but don't care about the plan to get there. The plan can change, but just make sure that your North Star is clear to you, right? Is your North Star trying to learn? Is your North Star trying to earn? Is it trying to make 10 million, 100 million, or a billion? Because they're very different. And is it trying to have independence, or is it trying to, like which ones are your priorities? Just be clear about the priorities and orient yourself through those. Like that lens basically will tell you what you need to do. And just like when you have a decision, make it according to that, right? But do not make it ahead of time and kind of over optimize for things that aren't even problems yet. I did that. It's a fucking waste of money because you don't benefit from it usually. The one thing that actually needs to be solved it doesn't actually get solved. That's actually a really useful reminder that I also needed myself, because I had to make this big life decision about where I'm trying to stay, and I started to find myself trying to plan things, and I had to pull back and just go, okay, the planning isn't going to fix the next step that I need to take. I just need to look at which situation is going to benefit me most for this singular next step and maintain flexibility, because I'm not 100% sure about everything. So, okay, where am I going to be able to craft that offer, craft the product, and learn the most? That's it. And if you find yourself trying to plan, just think, how far ahead are you really planning? How useful is that? Which one is going to do you more good and get you closer to your goals? Planning the next 5 years, or just starting to execute for the next month on whatever is your current constraint, right? Start there. And if you don't know what your constraint is, there's plenty of ways to figure it out. But generally, if you're under 6 figures, it is going to be marketing and offer. Like you don't have what you sell, you don't know how to market it. If you're under 7 figures, generally it's especially offer, because you're not settled on something, i.e. my case. And also some marketing as well. Like that's also a big thing. So these are my constraints and what I'm focused on. Anyway, leave any questions as usual. And yeah, I really hope this is useful for somebody. And yeah, that's a wrap.